Let me ask you something. Before you moved to America, were you someone who always paid your bills on time? Someone who never missed a loan payment? Someone your bank back home actually trusted? If your answer is yes, then what I am about to tell you is going to feel very unfair. And honestly, it is unfair. But if you don't understand it right now, it will cost you months, maybe years, of your financial life in this country. Here is the truth. Your perfect credit score from back home, whether you are from India, Mexico, the UK, Nigeria, the Philippines, Brazil, or anywhere else in the world, means absolutely nothing in America. Not 5% of something, not half, zero, complete zero. The moment you land in the USA, financially you are invisible. And I know that sounds harsh, but listen to me carefully. Understanding this one thing is the most important financial step you can take as a newcomer. Because once you understand why it happens, you can fix it faster than you think. So stay with me. I am going to break this down in the simplest way possible. No confusing words, no complicated terms, just the real truth, step by step, so that by the end of this video you know exactly what to do. Let's start with the big question. Why does your credit score not transfer to America? Think of it like this. Imagine you went to school in your home country for 12 years. You worked hard, you got excellent grades, perfect attendance, your teachers loved you. Now you move to a new country, and that country says, "We cannot see any of your school records. We don't know who you are. You need to start from scratch." That feels deeply unfair, right? But that is exactly what happens with your credit history when you come to America. Here is why. Every country in the world runs its own credit system. America has Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. These are the three big credit bureaus here. They track how American residents borrow money and pay it back. But they have absolutely no connection to credit bureaus in other countries. There is no global credit system, no international database, no bridge between countries. Privacy laws in different countries also prevent credit information from being shared across borders. So it is not that America doesn't trust you personally, it is that the system literally cannot see you. You are like a ghost in their records. And because they cannot see your history, to them you have no history at all. And here is the number that will truly shock you. A study found that 59% of immigrants coming to America had super prime credit scores in their home countries. Super prime means the best of the best. These are people who are financially excellent. And yet every single one of them arrived in America with a credit score of 0. Not because they did anything wrong, simply because the system has no way to recognize what they built back home. Now, before I tell you how to fix this, I need you to understand what a credit score actually is in America, because many newcomers get confused about this. Your credit score in the USA is a 3-digit number that goes from 300 to 850. Think of it as your financial report card. The higher the number, the more trustworthy you look to banks, landlords, phone companies, and lenders. A score above 700 is considered good. Above 740 is very good. Above 800 is excellent. But here is the thing that catches most immigrants off guard. A credit score is not just about money. It affects almost every part of your life here in America. When you want to rent an apartment, the landlord checks your credit. When you want to buy a car, the dealership checks your credit. When you apply for a phone plan, the phone company checks your credit. Even some employers check credit before hiring. And if your score is low or non-existent, many of these doors simply close in your face. Without credit, you might have to pay 2 or 3 months of rent as a deposit instead of 1. You might pay a 20% interest rate on a car loan instead of 5%. You might be stuck on a prepaid phone plan forever. All of this costs you thousands of extra dollars every single year, just because you don't have a credit history in America yet. So how does a credit score actually get built here? There are 5 main things that affect your score. The biggest one, 35% of your score, is your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? This is the most important factor, period. The second factor, 30%, is credit utilization. This means how much of your available credit limit you are actually using. If your credit card has a $500 limit and you use $400 of it, that is 80% utilization, and that will hurt your score. Experts say keep it under 30%, ideally under 10%. The third factor, 15%, is the length of your credit history. How long have your accounts been open? The longer the better. This is why you should never close your first credit card, even years later. The fourth factor is your credit mix. Do you have different types of credit, like a card and a loan? That is 10%. And the fifth is new credit inquiries. How many times have you recently applied for new credit? Too many applications in a short time looks risky, and that is also 10%. Now here is the important thing to understand. You cannot build any of this without first getting access to credit, and you cannot get access to credit without a credit history. It is a real catch-22, but there is a way out, and I am going to show you exactly how. The very first thing you need to do when you arrive in America, and I mean within your first week, is open a bank account. A bank account is your foundation. Without it, you cannot do anything else. Now, many newcomers panic because they think they need a social security number to open a bank account. That is not true. Yes, some banks ask for it, but many major banks accept an ITIN, that stands for Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, instead of a social security number. Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo all accept ITIN. Some credit unions accept even more flexible forms of ID. To open a basic bank account, you generally need a government-issued photo ID. Your passport works perfectly. A second form of ID like your ITIN letter from the IRS or a consular ID card, and proof of a U.S. address, which can be a utility bill, a bank statement, or a letter from your employer or university. Go in person to a branch. Don't try to do this online at first because online applications often require a social security number. Walk into the branch, explain that you are new to the country, and ask about accounts for newcomers. Most bank staff are used to helping immigrants and will guide you. One important warning about bank fees. Big banks like Chase and Bank of America charge around $10 to $12 per month if you don't meet their minimum balance requirements, often $500 or more. That is up to $144 per year just for having an account. If you are just starting out, look at credit unions or online banks that have no monthly fees and no minimum balance requirements. Capital One 360 is one example, though it requires a social security number. Local community credit unions are often the most welcoming to immigrants and charge very little or nothing. Now that you have your bank account, let's talk about the most important move you can make to start building your credit from zero. And this is the step most people delay, and that delay costs them months. You need to get a secured credit card. Let me explain exactly what that is, because the word secured confuses a lot of people. A secured credit card is a special type of credit card designed for people with no credit history. Here is how it works. You give the bank a deposit, usually $200 to $500. That deposit becomes your credit limit. So if you deposit $200, you have a $200 credit limit on the card. The bank is protected because they already have your money. That is why they are willing to give you the card even with no credit history. But here is the powerful part. Even though it is a secured card, it works exactly like a regular credit card. You use it to buy groceries, pay for gas, buy something online, and every month the bank reports your payment behavior to the credit bureaus. On-time payment after on-time payment, your credit score starts to grow. After 6 to 12 months of responsible use, most secured card issuers will upgrade you to a regular unsecured card, give you your deposit back, and you walk away with a real credit history. The most important cards for immigrants right now are the Discover It Secured Card and the Capital One Platinum Secured Card. Both report to all 3 credit bureaus, which is critical. If a card only reports to one bureau, your credit building is 3 times slower. Always confirm before you apply that the card reports to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. One rule that I want you to remember every single month: pay your full balance before the due date, not just the minimum payment. If you carry a balance and only pay the minimum, many of these starter cards charge you 25 to 30% interest. That wipes out any benefit you're getting. Pay the full balance, every time. Set up autopay so you never forget. And keep your spending on the card below 30% of your limit. If your limit is $200, don't spend more than $60 on it per statement. This keeps your utilization low, which protects your score. Now I want to share something that almost nobody in the immigrant community is talking about. This is brand new in 2026, and it changes the credit building game for newcomers. In July 2025, a major change happened in the American credit system. A new scoring model called VantageScore 4.0 was officially approved for mortgage loans by the U.S. government, specifically by an agency called the Federal Housing Finance Agency. What makes this huge for immigrants is this: VantageScore 4.0 can calculate your credit score after just 1 month of credit activity. The old FICO model required 6 months. 1 month versus 6 months. That is 5 months faster. But here's the part that will really help you. VantageScore 4.0 also counts rent payments, utility bills, and even your phone bill as part of your credit history. So if you have been paying your rent on time every month, that can now help your credit score if you sign up for a rent reporting service that sends that information to the credit bureaus. Services like Experian Rent Bureau or Rental Karma do exactly this. You sign up, they report your rent payments, and those on-time payments start building your credit history even before you get your first credit card. This is genuinely one of the most powerful tools available to immigrants right now, and most people have no idea it exists. Use it. Let me now talk about the most dangerous mistakes I see newcomers make. And I want to be very specific here because these mistakes are easy to avoid once you know about them. The first mistake is applying for a regular credit card before you have any credit history. If you walk into a bank in your first month and apply for a standard Visa or MasterCard, you will almost certainly be rejected. And every rejection leaves what is called a hard inquiry on your credit report, even though you don't have one yet. Too many hard inquiries make you look desperate for credit, which makes future approvals even harder. Always start with a secured card. Build 3 to 6 months of history, then think about applying for anything else. The second mistake, and this one is painful, is applying for multiple credit cards at the same time. I have seen people apply for 3 or 4 cards in 1 week, thinking more cards means faster credit building. It does not. Each application triggers a hard inquiry, and multiple inquiries in a short window can actually lower your score. Apply for 1 card, use it well. Wait at least 6 months before applying for anything new. The third mistake is closing your first credit card. Once you graduate to a better card, you might think, why would I keep this old secured card open? Close it, right? Wrong. The age of your oldest account is a big factor in your credit score. If you close your first card, you could lose years of history. Keep it open, even if you rarely use it. Use it once every few months for a small purchase and pay it off. That is enough to keep it active and protect your credit age. The fourth mistake is only making the minimum payment. Your credit card statement will show a minimum payment of maybe $10 or $15. Paying that minimum keeps you in good standing, but it also means you are paying 25 to 30% interest on everything else you owe. Over a year, that can cost you hundreds of dollars in interest charges. Always, always pay the full balance. Now I need to tell you about a hidden danger that affects thousands of immigrants every year, and almost nobody warns them about it. If you do not know about this, you could lose years of credit history you worked hard to build. Here is the situation. Many immigrants arrive in America without a social security number, so they apply for an ITIN, the Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, and they use that ITIN to open a bank account and get their first credit card. Smart move. They work hard, pay on time, and after 1 or 2 years, they have a real credit history built under their ITIN. Then, eventually, they become eligible for a social security number and get one. They are excited. They go to the bank, update their information, and then they discover something horrifying. Their credit history, the one they spent 2 years building under their ITIN, does not automatically transfer to their new social security number. To the credit bureaus, they are now a completely new person, back to zero. This happens to immigrants all the time. 2 years of responsible credit building, gone. But here's how to prevent it. The moment you get your social security number, you need to actually write physical letters or submit formal requests to all 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. In each letter, you explain that you previously had credit under your ITIN, and you are requesting that they merge that history with your new social security number. Include a copy of your ITIN letter, your new social security card, and a government-issued photo ID. Do this immediately. Do not wait. Your credit history is too valuable to lose. Before I close, I want to mention one more tool that can give you a real head start when you first arrive. It is called Nova Credit, and it is a service designed specifically for immigrants. Nova Credit works with credit bureaus in 13 countries, including India, Mexico, the UK, Canada, Australia, the Philippines, Brazil, Nigeria, and more. If you have a good credit history in one of these countries, Nova Credit can translate your foreign credit report into a format that American lenders can understand. Some major companies like American Express, HSBC, and SoFi actually use this when reviewing applications from immigrants. It will not give you a U.S. credit score, but it can help some lenders see that you are a trustworthy borrower even before you have built any U.S. credit history. Go to novacredit.com to check if your country is supported and which lenders are currently participating. Let me quickly bring everything together for you, because I know this was a lot of information, and I want to make sure you leave with a clear action plan. The moment you arrive in America, go open a bank account. Bring your passport and your ITIN. Go in person to a branch. Choose a bank or credit union that accepts ITIN and ideally has no monthly fees. In your first 2 to 3 weeks, apply for a secured credit card that reports to all 3 credit bureaus. Deposit $200 to $500. Start using it for small purchases. Pay the full balance every single month. At the same time, sign up for a rent reporting service so your monthly rent payments also help build your credit history under the new VantageScore 4.0 rules. After 6 months, check your score on Credit Karma or the Experian app. Both are free. You should see a real score by now, likely in the mid to high 600s if you have been consistent. Keep using the secured card responsibly for 12 to 18 months. By that point, most issuers will upgrade you automatically, return your deposit, and you will have a credit score in the 700 range, which opens up apartments, car loans, and real credit cards with rewards and benefits. And if you ever get a Social Security number after building credit under your ITIN, write to all 3 credit bureaus immediately to merge your histories. Do not skip this step. I know this journey feels long when you are just starting, but every single immigrant who has gone through this process has come out the other side with a real financial life in America. The system is not designed for you at the beginning, but once you understand the rules, you can work them in your favor. If this video helped you, please share it with someone you know who just moved to America or is planning to. They need this information. Subscribe to this channel for more real, practical finance guides made specifically for immigrants and students in the USA. I will see you in the next one.